Welcome to Devotionary, where we make the Bible accessible and applicable. One of the realities of God's unique relationship with mankind is that He sometimes gives us exactly what we want. While He is the sovereign God of the universe and totally in control of any and all things, He occasionally allows sinful men to have what their hearts desire. And we see this truth played out in Joshua chapter 13, verses 14 through 33, when God provides the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh the land they requested on the east side of the Jordan River. They had fallen in love with this land the first time they had set eyes on it. It was rich pasture land, perfect for their many flocks and herds. So rather than wait to receive their allotment of land on the western side of the Jordan, these three tribes set their sights on what was already readily available. And the tribe of Levi, which had been chosen by God to serve Him in the tabernacle, received no land, but were blessed by God with cities spread throughout the land of promise, and the assurance that God would meet all their needs as a form of payment for service rendered to Him. This section of chapter 13 provides us with greater detail concerning the allotment of the land of promise to the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh. All the way back during the days of Moses' leadership, they had made a request that they be allowed to settle east of the Jordan, in the land of Gilead. The book of Numbers tells us that both tribes had significant numbers of livestock, and that the land east of the Jordan was an ideal location for them to settle and raise their flocks and families. The Israelites had defeated Sihon, king of the Amorites, as well as Og, king of Bashan. So the tribes of Reuben and Gad appealed to Moses and the leadership of Israel to allow them to have this conquered land as their allotment of the inheritance. Ataroth, Dibon, Jazer, Nimrah, Heshbon, Elealeh, Sebam, Nebo, and beyond, the land that the Lord struck down before the congregation of Israel, is a land for livestock, and your servants have livestock. And they said, If we have found favor in your sight, let this land be given to your servants for a possession. Do not take us across the Jordan. Numbers 32, verses 3 through 5. And Moses had agreed to their request, on the condition that they assist the rest of the tribes in their conquest of the land west of the Jordan. Moses didn't want them to abandon their brothers in their divinely decreed mission to conquer and possess the land of promise. So the men of Reuben and Gad had given Moses their word. Then they came near to him and said, We will build sheepfolds here for our livestock, and cities for our little ones. But we will take up arms, ready to go before the people of Israel, until we have brought them to their place. And our little ones shall live in the fortified cities because of the inhabitants of the land. We will not return to our homes until each of the people of Israel has gained his inheritance. For we will not inherit with them on the other side of the Jordan and beyond, because our inheritance has come to us on this side of the Jordan to the east. Numbers 32, verses 16 through 19. The tribe of Manasseh was allotted land on both sides of the Jordan, with half of them settling east of the Jordan and the remainder receiving land on the other side. And the sons of Machir, the son of Manasseh, went to Gilead and captured it, and dispossessed the Amorites who were in it. And Moses gave Gilead to Machir, the son of Manasseh, and he settled in it. Numbers 32, verses 39 through 40. Once the primary conquest of the land of promise had been accomplished and the majority of the significant opposition had been removed, Joshua allowed the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh to return to their side of the Jordan and settle in the land they had been given. The author provides us with great detail concerning the geographic boundaries of their land, and he makes sure we understand that this allotment had been made according to the words of Moses. And Moses gave an inheritance to the tribe of the people of Reuben according to their clans. Joshua 13, verse 15. Moses gave an inheritance also to the tribe of Gad, to the people of Gad, according to their clans. Joshua 13, verse 24. And Moses gave an inheritance to the half-tribe of Manasseh. It was allotted to the half-tribe of the people of Manasseh according to their clans. Joshua 13, verse 29. Joshua's decision to allow the three tribes to settle east of the Jordan was in keeping with the command Moses had given years earlier. He was simply keeping the commitment Moses had made, because the clans of Gad, Reuben, and Manasseh had kept their word to fight alongside the rest of the tribes until the land of promise had been fully conquered and settled. It's interesting to note that these three tribes had selected their land based on appearance. After Israel had conquered Og and Sihon, making the land east of the Jordan available, the tribes of Gad, Reuben, and Manasseh had seen that it provided a perfect environment for pasturing their flocks and herds. And it was already conquered land. The ready availability of the land, including its well-fortified cities, was appealing to them. So rather than wait to see what God had in store for them on the other side of the Jordan, they chose to settle outside the land of promise. and years later they would be removed from their land because of disobedience and unfaithfulness to God. But they broke faith with the God of their fathers and whored after the gods of the peoples of the land, whom God had destroyed before them. So the God of Israel stirred up the spirit of Pul, king of Assyria, the spirit of Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, and he took them into exile, namely the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh, and brought them to Halah, Habor, Harah, and the river Gazan to this day. 1 Chronicles 5, verses 25 through 26. They got the land they wanted. They fulfilled the lust of their eyes, but they eventually failed to keep their commitments to God. The land was rich and perfect for raising their many flocks, but somewhere along the way, they took their eyes off of God and forgot that He was the one who had blessed them with their flocks and the land on which to raise them. These verses are bookended by references to yet another tribe, that of the Levites. The tribe of Levi had been appointed by God to serve Him in the tabernacle, alongside Aaron and his sons. So the Lord said to Aaron, "You and your sons and your father's house with you shall bear iniquity connected with the sanctuary, and you and your sons with you shall bear iniquity connected with your priesthood. And with you bring your brothers also, the tribe of Levi, the tribe of your father, that they may join you and minister to you, while you and your sons with you are before the tent of the testimony." Numbers 18, verses 1 through 2. God had set them apart for this special role, and had promised to provide for their needs. Rather than give them land on which to plant crops and raise flocks, God would allow them to eat the animals that were brought for sacrifice. Every devoted thing in Israel shall be yours. Everything that opens the womb of all flesh, whether man or beast, which they offer to the Lord, shall be yours. Numbers 18, verses 14 through 15. And Moses made it clear that this provision by God would take the place of any inheritance of land. They would be cared for by God. All the holy contributions that the people of Israel present to the Lord I give to you, and to your sons and daughters with you as a perpetual due. It is a covenant of salt forever before the Lord for you, and for your offspring with you. And the Lord said to Aaron, "You shall have no inheritance in their land, neither shall you have any portion among them. I am your portion and your inheritance among the people of Israel." Numbers 18, verses 19 through 20. Rather than land, the Levites received the promise of God that He would provide for all their needs, in return for their faithful service in His tabernacle. The tribes of Gad, Reuben, and Manasseh asked for what they wanted and got it. The tribe of Levi asked for nothing and got the blessing of being provided for by God. They received no land, but were given the privilege of serving God in His tabernacle, and they found themselves fed by God Himself, enjoying the first fruits of all the other tribes as their reward for faithful service to God.